Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM, we want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Olivia Rodrigo. This chick rocks.
Hosted by Sheryl Crow.
Women of rock.
Now for a limited time on Channel 79.
And year-round on the all-new SiriusXM app.
It's Thursday, and every pitch of the season is on SiriusXM.
This team never stops.
Hear your hometown announcers on the all-new SiriusXM app.
They celebrate at home plate.
And talk baseball every day with our team of former players and executives on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89.
There's just something about opening day of the Major League Baseball season.
To listen to MLB Network Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly. News and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs. This is Rob Lowe.
Hey, babies, little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to East Street Radio. You're home away from home. Great to be here.
To hear SiriusXM's East Street Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com.
You gotta get this. There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, let's see. You gotta get this. There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, let's see. You gotta get this. You gotta get this.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe. And that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Today is a beautiful March 25th, 2024. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit ya where the good Lord split ya, if that makes sense to you, and drive that Cadillac like it's your last Cadillac you're going to drive today, if that makes sense to you. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. It's streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. Have a lot of great things happening. We have March Madness, the Sweet 16 for the men and the women. Got some thoughts also on Major League Baseball stadiums, where you want to go to see a Major League Baseball game. If you can get in for the price of admission, I think it's gone up. Also, the price of gas going up. Everything's going up. Price of food going up. But everything that's going up, must come down. But what's not going up is the cost of listening to Big C Sports Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast all around the universe. And it costs you just to make sure you pay your bill so you can listen to me on your computer or your cell phone, all fair level work. I want to say what I love doing with Big C Sports Podcast is I love working out, getting in shape. But before I get into that, I got to tell you something that happened to me today. I was out for my jog this morning. And as you know, it's springtime, so people want to get in shape. So I decided I'd go out and do my normal walk, my 4-mile walk in the morning. But I decided I'd do a power walk. So then I started, you know what? I could do a power walk. It don't hurt too much. I said, you know what? Maybe I could do a power jog. So I started jogging, thinking, I feel good. I feel like back in the days when I played ball. And then I looked up, and this old guy, I'm saying he was probably 80 years old. And I say he was 80 just because he was all gray. I mean, it don't have to be 80 to be gray, but he was 80 years old. But he ran past me like he was a bullet train. It kind of hurt my ego. Because no man wants to see another man run faster than him. And it's true. If you're driving on the highway and you see a car coming up and he's trying to go past you, you kind of want to step on the gas too. Unless it's one of those 700 horsepower Hellcats. You just waste your gas going against that thing. But long story short, the man started jogging, and I felt, well, he's 80 years old. I know I can keep up with him. So I said, let me step up my game. So I started running a little bit faster. I was huffing and I was puffing. I was trying to blow his doors off, if that makes sense to you. Well, after about maybe a good 2 minutes of running, I said, let that fool go. I couldn't catch up with him. I said, he must have been running all his life. Then just when I thought he's in really good shape, I saw the popo chasing after him on bicycles. So just because he's faster than you doesn't mean he's in better shape. He was running for his life. I wasn't running for my life. That's all fair level work. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast, as I say, on the 29 podcast applications. Really do appreciate that. But I also love, with Big C Sports Podcast, saying today's show is sponsored by T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Also, today's show is sponsored by PNC Private Bank, proud sponsor of the Big C Sports Podcast. I won $6 million. In fact, the lotto's, I think, $800 million tonight. I think I won it. I know I must have won because there's no way that old man could have run faster than me, but the popo was chasing him on their bicycles, all fair and level more. I guess he was running trying to get some tuna cans, because the price of food's going up. The man bought some tuna, and I guess he forgot to pay for it. So he tried to get away. You can't get away, but I tell you on Big C Sports Podcast, what I love about doing my show, not only do I brag about being outrun by an 80-year-old man, and I'm not too proud to say that, but he was being chased by the popo. I was not being chased by the popo, if that makes sense to you. But I produce the show, I direct the topics, I broadcast all the shows, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives, and then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. I even do the storytelling, and then like March Madness, I do the play-by-play. Curry for 3! Yes! A lot of good boys playing college basketball, trying to cut down the nets. In men and women's sports, got a little update on that coming up with Big C Sports Podcast. Then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast applications out of New York City. And I'm in Dimner Hills, California. And then I never missed a show. Since starting Big C Sports with the crew back in the days of Salem Media, really do appreciate that. I love doing that. You got to give that some praise. I never miss a show. So I love giving that praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. What I also love saying about Big C Sports, the team is growing. There's a lot growing, but I want to pay homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. Our military veterans, they do a lot to keep us safe and keep us safe. Veterans Crisis Hotline, but sometimes they need help. We all need help at times. We all need somebody to lean on. Their experience in helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know any military veterans going through help? Pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. It is nice leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back. And that's what I love about Big C Sports Podcast. There's always somebody leaning back. But I do have a special request. I was talking to some older friends of mine. They said, Big C, We love the show, Big C, but could you do us a favor? Now, I'm not trying to criticize, but if you could do us a favor, it would be easier to listen to your show. I said, okay, well, I can take some constructive criticism. They said, could you talk a little bit faster? I said, what? Talk faster? I think I'm the fastest talking sports show host in the universe. They say, no, you don't talk fast enough. See, sometimes as you get older, you can't hold your loins as long as you like to. And they got to go to the restroom like every hour. So one good boy said, some of your shows go over an hour. If you could just talk a little bit faster, then I wouldn't have to take a break when I go to the men's room. I said, you could put the show on pause. He said, oh, you can put the show on pause. And put it on pause makes sense. Give that some praise. Sometimes older people don't realize you can press pause. And you can still go to the restroom and then come back and listen to the show. Now, I don't recommend taking the show to the phone, to the restroom with you, because I don't want to be there in your private moments in life. And men and women, your private time of life is when you go to that restroom and you don't want to be disturbed. You don't want to be listening to this. Welcome to the show where you get your groove on the toilet. So you can put it on pause. You go to the toilet. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. He said, well, what that does make sense. I want to tell you also what makes sense, because I'm going to talk about some things in sports. Oh, my God. I want to thank my friend Bill McMillan, who's the vice president of a bank and has access to some of the largest sports insurance companies in the United States with athletic insurance, and talked to him today about doing some work with the Big C team, so sending him a package of how he can be of help. And why join the Big C team? Because we have a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth with Resource Development Consulting in conjunction with the law offices of Scott Thibodeau and George Jones. We have the missing link in long-term care solutions by the book. Over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits. We use Medicare and You, Taking Care of Tomorrow, and Medi-Cal in California, called Medicaid in other parts of the country. So you and your family can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. I promise to you, if we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. Now, I gotta make sure that you understand, I am working on a commercial, and it's in progress as I'm breathing. If you're breathing, I'm breathing too. But I'm trying to do a commercial, and I don't mind showing you the raw footage of my commercial. So as I do it again, I've been told I have a speech impediment. Also, I've been told I need to speak a little bit faster. So we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down, and all paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by a staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities. You know anybody who's dealing with skilled nursing facilities? Prescriptions. You know anybody taking prescriptions? How about medical equipment costs? You know anyone that has medical equipment costs and more? So with the Big C team, with RDC, we learn to protect your assets. What you? Aflac? No, Aflac's the duck. That's Gap Insurance. We protect your assets. Therefore protecting your assets. I tell you, I'm doing a live commercial, and I don't redact anything. But at the same time, as we learn to help you protect your assets, we make sure we're including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, which can be from 10 to 40%, and a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. You got to give that some praise. I say give it praise, praise, praise. And that's what you get with the Big C team. We're not out there just trying to sell you an insurance policy. In fact, we have Resource Development Consulting. And I also want to say why people should join and are joining the Big C team, because we tell you, and financial planners and business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. What kind of protection, Big C? Well, protection means insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation. We have lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care to avoid probate. And we offer life insurance. What about fixed assets, Big C? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have bank, checking account, savings account, money market, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. What about variable assets, Big C? I'm glad you asked. Real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. You got to give that some praise. I'm not just saying touchdown, home run, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. And that's what I love with the Big C team. Really do appreciate that. That's why 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624 is so important. Who endorses you, Big C? Well, I'm glad you asked. Why the Big C team with RDC? Because we also have the endorsements of Mr. George Jones, attorney at law, chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, California Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Also, Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting. Know he works with some of the top lobbyists in California. Also, Mrs. Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, CEO of Resource Development Consulting, over 3 decades of experience. Mr. Alex De La Cruz. He's the founder of American Veterans Benefits. And also, you have Charlton Curry of Big C Sports, the Big C team, business development consultant. You got to give that some praise. I say give it praise, and that's why you should do work with the Big C team, but not just shucking and jiving, trying to get you to sign a policy. So as I said, I love doing this for every show because it's important to me. I'm also part of the National Black Wall Street Project, which is really important, and I love so much what I'm doing in trying to bring economic awareness and opportunity to people that really need it. And I love being able to do that. That's one of the reasons I also love working with the Big C team and RDC. But I want to say that I think and I don't think I'm wrong by saying this, I think I'm one of the only sports shows in the universe that pays homage to the California Reparations Task Force. There are a lot of people, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, there's a lot of people making sure they do what's possible for reparations for descendants of African Americans, descendants of chattel slavery. And also, it's more than just money. It's about resources, access to property, loans, elimination of debt, access to health care, things that we've been deprived of that we did not get with the Homestead Act of 1862 that only gave land to white people. Over 300 million acres of it. And all the money that was earned from slavery. And people say, oh, we can't track who was a slave, Big C. That's not true. They can track every parcel of land in the United States from 1619 to 2024. They can track who owned that land from 1619 to 2024. They can track who those people also had as their property from 1619 to 2024. So don't tell me it's not possible when you can track who owns lands going back to centuries, if that makes sense to you. But as I say, I love paying homage to the Reparations Task Force. Attorney Camilla Moore, she's brilliant. She's the chair of the Reparations Task Force. Dr. Amos C. Brown, he's the vice chair. He's brilliant. I really do appreciate him. In fact, he was on the Big C Sports podcast just last week, and he was making so much sense. This gentleman marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, you say you love Dr. King, but he marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. back in the days of civil rights, and he's still here to talk about it. And I'm putting together a package for him, asking him to just spread the word on how we can help people get long-term care. It's an entitlement signed into law by Lyndon Baines Johnson with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. right by his side in 1966. About 9 out of 10 people don't know that. Even financial planners don't know that. They don't know that long-term care is an entitlement. It was signed by President Lyndon Baines Johnson. President Harry Truman worked on it for 20 years. Why do you only learn that with the Big C team? 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Getting that package out to Dr. Amos C. Brown and looking for his. I just want him to be a part of our team, getting the word out to people, because everybody knows somebody in the hospital. People know that's true. Everybody knows somebody dealing with long-term care problems. You know that's true. Everybody knows that when you go to probate, they're going to take your assets. But if you put it in a trust according to the book, I'm not just talking about the good book, the Bible. I'm talking about the book that was set aside by Congress, protecting our seniors. Why don't people know that? And so that's why I'm asking for distinguished people, men and women, and people in high places in California and all over the country to help get the word out about the Big C team and RDC Consulting, Resource Development Consulting, helping people protect their assets, if that makes sense to you. I really do appreciate Dr. Amos C. Brown and also Senator Stephen Bradford, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's a brilliant man, really do appreciate him. I want to also have many conversations with Senator Stephen Bradford as well. Going to have more coming up. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's an attorney. She's brilliant. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, also a professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. And I want to thank Attorney at Law Donald K. Tamaki. of the California Reparations Task Force. Give them all praise. I said give them praise, because our mind is a trouble thing to waste, and they are doing their part to make sure that we not only get reparations, but that we spread the word of RDC to help people find work, to help people protect their assets with long-term care, solutions by the book. Why don't more people know about that? If you know better, you do better. I want to thank Double O, part of the National Black Wall Street Project Payout Committee, also has her own financial talk show called Economic Awareness. Let's eat! Everybody loves to eat. She sent me Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's called the White House. And speaking of the White House, POTUS is having some issues coming up with money to protect his assets. He's trying to protect his own assets, if that makes sense to you. Achoo! And Aflac won't help him. But he needs protection, and he's trying to get it. But at the same time, the best way to get out of trouble is not get into trouble, if that makes sense to you. Give not getting into trouble some praise. It's easy to get out of trouble when you don't get in trouble, if that makes sense to you. And so we'll see what happens as people pay attention to POTUS 45. I also want to thank Double O, part of the National Black Wall Street Project Payout Committee, and also has her own economic awareness talk show called Let's Eat. She sent me this article by the United Nations that says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. We do appreciate her. And I want to thank, Freedmen's Bank was created 1865. You can Google it. It was signed into law through executive order by President Abraham Lincoln. That's so important. A lot of people don't know that. But I tell you why that's important is because right now, as you're breathing, California Senator Stephen Bradford, he has in legislation SB 490 to recreate Freedmen's Bureau in California, and that's the bank that pays out reparations. He's one of the most brilliant men in the universe. I love giving him praise for all the hard work. That's important, and I love being a part of the Big C Sports. Before I get into a little bit of sports, and I want to tie into some things, why the Big C and RDC team, NBC News and the Associated Press did an article in Big C Sports. It was last year, March 30, 2023. It said Charlton Curry of Sacramento, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, says that cash payments are necessary and that money talks. It's more than just money. There are a lot of things that are a part of the Task Force AB 3121 that's right now in the legislation in California. Commissioned by Governor Gavin Newsom, Secretary of State Shirley Weber, and also Dr. Amos Brown, who's the one that put together a lot of information that's part of the Reparations Task Force. He was on the program just last week. Of all the programs that you could talk about, when Big C Sports is on the air and you hear dignitaries talking about solutions for our seniors, solutions by the book, how to protect your assets, if you don't have a trust, you can have a will. A will is great. But if you don't have a trust, probate will take everything. They will take all of your assets when you pass on. Therefore, you can't give that money to someone that you put in your will or bequeath to someone for the next generation. And it even tells you in the books by the government, you need to have a trust. No one does it better than the RDC team. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. So that's important, and I want to give that some praise. I want to give it praise. And I want to talk about some things in the world of sports that's been happening because obviously you've been aware, Major League Baseball, the great Shohei Ohtani, a pitcher for the LA Dodgers, he's trying to find someone to protect his assets, if that makes sense to you. So the great Shohei Ohtani said he never gambled on sports. This came out today. We've been talking about it for the last week now. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, the superstar baseball player, the great Shohei Ohtani, he's saying in his own words, with obviously an interpreter, that he never gambled on baseball. And he denied today ever betting on baseball or any other sport, and said his former interpreter has stolen money from Ohtani's account to fuel his gambling habits. Allegedly. So addressing the storm that has erupted over the past week, Shohei Ohtani said he was beyond shocked over the alleged theft. Is it really hard? Think about it. He said it's really hard for me to verbalize how I'm feeling at this point. And he said, speaking at a Dodger Stadium podium. And the advisor his interpreter was fired last week after Ohtani's lawyers accused him of massive theft of $4.5 million and then placing bets with a bookmaker under federal investigation. Think about that. If you have someone that has access to your bank account and they're able to take $4.5 million, not because they wanted to buy some food, but because they wanted to gamble with a bookie. Now, it happens to a lot of athletes because sometimes you put money in an account and you give someone access to it. Or we know there's scandals that go on too. But the scandal threatened to overshadow the start of Major League Baseball's opening day, and that's going to be Thursday. It also challenged the public's understanding of one of baseball's biggest stars and brought renewed scrutiny to professional sports and the closeness with gambling. Well, baseball, they got in bed with gambling. Just like going to bed with anybody. When you lay down with somebody, you have to run across with whoever they laid down with before they lay down with you. So if baseball's saying, well, we don't want our people gambling on the sport, then why do they run advertisements allowing the betting community to lay down with them? They don't want their athletes gambling on sports, but they will take money from the gaming industry. So speaking for the first time since his former interpreter was accused of stealing money from the baseball star's account to gamble on sports, the LA Dodgers player, the great Shohei Ohtani, he told his side of the story. He said in a statement to the media, Ohtani said he only learned about the alleged theft last week during a baseball series in South Korea. And he, think about it, what he said. He accused his longtime Japanese interpreter of stealing money from his account and also lying. However, the truth must be told. There's two sides to the story. Because before this broke, there were some accusations that he said that Shohei was going to make good on the money. So you have two conflicting stories. So the interpreter was fired after Ohtani's lawyers accused him of stealing millions of dollars. His lawyers accused him. Before that, they were buddy-buddy. So why did the story change when a lawyer got involved? Ohtani's lawyers accused him of stealing millions of dollars, $4.5 million, and placing bets with a bookmaker under federal investigation, 800 Gambler. Gambling is just what it says. You're gambling. And then the LA Times reported the story. Think about this, people that want to put their money out of your wallet and bet on some sports. We have March Madness. People are betting on who's going to win a game or win the national championship. So the two-way player signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers this offseason. And when you think about the timeline, the baseball player said that he first learned that his old interpreter admitted to using money from the star's account to bet on sports during a team meeting, and that his old interpreter spoke in English during the meeting and thought he did not understand exactly what was being said. Shohei Ohtani said he started to feel like something was amiss, and he asked the star to speak in private after the meeting. Ohtani said in a report, allegedly, that when he found out, he said about his interpreter's gambling addiction, until that point he did not know that his interpreter was in debt. Allegedly. So how it started, it began with the reporters asking questions about the alleged wire transfer from Shohei Ohtani's bank account to a bookmaker. And Ohtani was in South Korea for the series against the San Diego Padres when he said the media contacted his representatives about his potential involvement in sports betting. Now, Ohtani indicated that his interpreter never told him about the media inquiry. According to Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter told reporters about his representatives that Ohtani, on behalf of a friend, paid off the debt. After more questions, Ohtani said it was uncovered that his old interpreter was in debt and told my representatives that I was paying off those debts, calling it a complete lie. And who's to believe who? According to media outlet, Ohtani's spokesperson initially told the outlet that the Japanese superstar was covering the gambling debts of his longtime friend and interpreter. Additionally, an interview with a sports outlet told the interpreter said that wire transfers from Ohtani's bank accounts to an alleged bookmaker operation were to cover his losses, but that Ohtani had zero involvement in the betting. And then last week, Ohtani's lawyers, they released a statement saying that he was a victim of theft. And his interpreter walked back on much of what he had previously told a media outlet, saying Ohtani had no knowledge or involvement in the gambling activities or his efforts to repay the debt. Now, I feel for Ohtani, anyone that's had any kind of money stolen from you, it's not a good feeling. I had money stolen from me too. It's not a good feeling. At the same time, Ohtani denies the sports betting. He said he never bet on baseball or any other sport or asked someone to do it on his behalf. He also denied going through a bookmaker to bet on sports. Now, on a personal note, Ohtani said he was very sad and shocked that someone who he trusted has done this, and that is really hard for him to verbalize how he's feeling at this point. He said he's letting his lawyers handle the investigations, which is smart, moving forward, and is looking toward the start of the baseball offseason. I understand what he's saying, because you don't know what somebody's doing with their money. There are a lot of athletes that have some of their sports agents or their partners have taken money, and they've told them, we're going to make more money. If you just give me the money, I'm going to make your money. I'm going to double your money. And a lot of those guys they've been hoodwinked. They've been bamboozled. So Shohei Ohtani said that his former interpreter has been stealing from his account and told lies. The baseball superstar, he said, was from South Korea in his series against the San Diego Padres when the media contacted his representatives about the involvement. So at the same time, you could feel bad for Shohei Ohtani, but you could also feel bad that Major League Baseball, they love being in bed with the gambling community. That's why they even let commercials exist where they're telling you can bet on certain sports apps. They even follow that up with 800 Gambler if you have a sporting problem. Well, they've invited the sports world into the bed with the gaming community. Could you imagine being number 100, laying down with somebody, and you think you're only number 5, but you're really 105? If that makes sense to you? Well, they knew the gaming industry, it sucks money out of your wallet. That's what they do. They're not there to pay out. They're there to suck in. It's okay being sucked on somebody as long as you agree to it. But they show up with a smile on their face, and they gotta suck money out of you in order to exist. They gotta suck on you to exist. But baseball laid down in bed with the gaming industry. They know they're gonna suck on you. And they make money from the gaming industry. They know they do. They just don't want the athletes participating. Well, there are 30 Major League Baseball teams. That means there are 30 Major League Baseball owners. 32 NFL football owners. 30 NBA basketball owners. They're all in bed with gaming. They're all making commercials with the gaming industry. They don't mind being the 105th person you lay down with, if that makes sense to you. Grown people do what they want to do. But why lie about it? If you're laying down with that many people, just say, this is what I do. This is who I am. But a lot of people lie about it. So the sports industry, they want to lay down in bed with the gaming industry. But when the athletes do it, they want to say, you're fired. Or they want to say, you're suspended. But they're the ones who open that door. They open Pandora's box. And now they have one of their most prized athletes, the great Shohei Ohtani. They signed him to a 10-year, $700 million deal. And the sports business, they're going to bed with these gaming industries because they want to get the money out of them. But when their athletes go to bed with these gaming industries, they say, oh, you committed a crime. In fact, you got to be suspended. But on the other hand, it's okay for the owners and the leagues to make money from these gaming industries. Look at all over the sports business. You'll even see some of the teams in the NBA, they even have the gaming industries. They probably accept their advertising dollar. But you got to understand, you send a kid into a cookie store where the cookies are fresh, of course that kid's going to want some of those cookies. Oh, you can look, but don't touch. And baseball's saying, look, but don't touch. Baseball's willing to make money off the gaming industry, but they don't want their athletes doing it because they think they may be fixing games. And that's a fact. That's why Pete Rose can't get into the Hall of Fame, because of the allegations of what he was doing with the gaming industry. But if it's bad for the athlete, then why is the owner bringing the gaming industry into the bedroom? They're laying in bed with it. They lay in bed with the gaming industry, and they get all the benefits of laying in bed with the gaming industry. They get the money. But when the athletes want to lay in that same bed with the gaming industry, they say, you can't do that. That's my money. It's just a fact. And I don't think it's right. If you're not going to allow them to bet on sports, then why do you accept money from the gaming industry? It's not a bad question to ask. If the gaming industry is so bad, why are you taking money from it? And now there's this talk that maybe Shohei Ohtani, he could be suspended. I think he's going to be suspended by the LA Dodgers. Even if he says he was ignorant, the lack of the law does not prohibit you from being punished. And baseball has its own guidelines. They don't want their athletes in bed with the gaming industry. That's for them to get in bed with it. They can get all the benefits from being in bed with a $1 trillion gaming industry. When you look at all over the world, sports apps are so high. In fact, in March Madness, that I'm going to talk about next, there's more money being bet for March Madness than the Super Bowl, which is the second most watched event in the history of television outside of the Apollo 11 moon landing. But March Madness has more people betting on apps than the Super Bowl had, because the Super Bowl is one day, and the Kansas City Chiefs defended their championship, beating the 49ers in Super Bowl 58. March Madness goes on about a whole month. So be careful out there. If you're an athlete and you're not writing your own checks because you're going to trust your agent to write the check for you, or you're going to trust your interpreter to write the check for you, because this may get Ohtani suspended. Wouldn't that be a shame to be suspended for something you did not know about? I said, wouldn't it be a shame to be suspended for something you did not know about? But baseball let it in. That's like allowing a thief to come into your home and you get mad that they stole something. You know they were a thief when they showed up. You know the gaming industry only makes money by sucking money out of the paying public's pocket. You already knew that. And you lay it down with it. And now you get mad that the athletes want to lay down with it too. Whether he's innocent or not. If you're accused of a crime and your reputation is smeared, look at Pete Rose. Same thing. There's no different in him and Shohei Ohtani. The accusations happen to both of them. They both are dealing with the same thing. I just want to say, the industry, 800 gambler, if you're betting on games, especially if you're an athlete betting on your own team to win or lose, it makes you wonder when someone throws a ball when it should have been easily a strike, when someone throws a bad pass out of bounds, when the player he was throwing the ball to was clearly wide open, or when a quarterback throws the ball to the ground, when had he thrown it 5 feet higher, it would have been a completed pass. You just never know. And so it makes people wonder, is my money good? Watch the movie Focus by Will Smith. Because baseball's trying to protect their assets, if that makes sense to you, by throwing their player under the bus. But to me, it doesn't make any sense. I want to get into the March Madness, the women's March Madness NCAA tournament. The schedule for the 2024 NCAA women's basketball tournament for March Madness. The second round action continues today. And obviously, there's a lot of more action to play. And the Final Four is going to conclude on April 5th at 7 p.m. with the second semifinal starting at 30 minutes after the first game ends. Both will be televised on ESPN, hosted by Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. But I tell you, there's a lot of excitement in March Madness, and not getting into the scores of today, but Notre Dame, number 2 Notre Dame played number 7 Ole Miss, number 3 North Carolina State played number 6 Tennessee, number 3 UConn played number 6 Syracuse, number 4 Indiana played number 5 Oklahoma, number 1 Iowa taking on West Virginia, number 8 seed, and number 2 seed UCLA taking on number 7 seed Creighton. Number 1 seed Southern California taking on number 8 seed Kansas. And number 4 seed Gonzaga taking on number 5 seed Utah. Give those ladies some praise. I said give them praise. But whatever you do, don't bet on the sport. If you bet on the sport, you're going to have some problems. And people know that. You got to stay away from it, because if you ever get accused of it, it's like being guilty. It's like being guilty, because when you're accused of it, then who's going to stand up and defend you? And that goes back to Shohei Ohtani and people that maybe want to bet their brackets for March Madness. If you're an athlete, you sure don't want to bet on games, because who's to say you're not? We just never know. It makes you wonder how someone has a turnover, just dribbles the ball out of bounds. You never know. You never know, because the bet world has gotten in bed